ultimately for the goalie.
Well, as I say, when I left here, Paul, I went along, and the biggest surprise of the evening was that Andy actually taken time to come down and come in.
How did that happen?
Well, his son was there, and they got a taxi. He got him in his wheelchair and brought him in, because he obviously never had the power to walk in. But he was in fantastic form. He was brilliant. He lit the place up with some stories and laughs, and I was very fortunate to get a few minutes with him. And as I say, it was very sad to see but it was great to see as well, because with the way he was looking, you didn't expect him to be so sprightly, And as I said, for things to turn as quickly within the next week to 10 days was frightening, actually. But as I say, I was glad I got that opportunity a couple of weeks ago to see him. And as I say, it's just, I feel so sad for his family, for such a young man. As I say, he was a fantastic goalkeeper. Probably the best I've played against, there's no doubt of that, in the matches we even played, so there is no doubt of that. People can go on and talk about the Pierre save, everything like that, but he'd done it time and time again. There was more than Pierre's save against us.
Sure,
massive saves,
You wish that was the only one?
Yeah, absolutely. He was a massive goalkeeper, and we all have our faults, and people talk about faults. Yeah. We all have our faults, but the one thing about him was he was very, very respectful on the football pitch to the players he played against. Us as he played against, as I said before, they never rubbed it in your face when they were turning you over now and again, and they were the things that'll always stick with me. But as I say, it's a sad loss. He was a one-off as a goalkeeper, and he was a character. As I say, we talk about nowadays about characters. He was definitely one of them.
So 2 weeks ago you headed to Airdrie.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Tam Cowan hosted it brilliantly.
Yes.
Who else was there?
Frank McAvenny was there. The Rangers boys was Charlie Miller. You had big Colin Hendry. You had Simon Donnelly, your own Simon Donnelly. So they were all there. And Gordon Smith was there. Gordon was there. So there was loads of people there. We were just delighted. But the big surprise was Andy actually taking the time to come in. And
somebody else told me what he said. He said something. Go on, tell the listeners, because you won't, because you're modest. But he heard that you were going to be there.
Yes.
And he said,
well, seemingly by all accounts, he said who's going to be there, and we mentioned a few who was going to be there, and he said Grant is going to be there. He said, oh well, if a big Celtic man like him's going to be there, I'm sure they can take the time out to take my time to go down there, which was very emotional for me. And it was tough for me because I went up on the stage and seen him. And as I say, I think people will appreciate we're always against the enemy, each other, of course, but there's always a mutual respect there, and that's the biggest thing for that time I'll take, with all the guys, because even though they were on 9 in a row and it was very, very tough for like say Paul, myself and Packy, etc., they were very respectful to us as a group, and that's the only thing I can take from it, and that's why I'll have him the respect that he showed me. And as I say, it was humbling, and as I say, but it makes you take a step back at times as well, and just think how fortunate we are.
And the fans, I'm sure, will realise that on both sides.
Absolutely. Listen, Celtic Rangers, you never ever want to lose what Celtic Rangers are about. I never ever want to lose it. I never want to lose it for that 90 minutes. Of course, some people step over the lines at times, of course, but we do that in life, So I think the biggest thing for me is and I said it, I think a couple of weeks ago, in that period of time, there was a great respect between each other. We weren't the best pals who were going out for a pint every night of the week, but there was a great respect and a mutual respect there. And I think that continued through the years. You've seen the nice words that's come back from my ex-teammates towards Andy, and I think that's important, and that's not just said because something so sad's happened. It is genuine, I'd be the first to say I'm saying nothing. I'd rather say nothing than kid somebody else, oh, he was a nice guy or whatever. The way he was with me, and that's the respect I owe him. So as I said, I'm thankful that I got the opportunity to see him a couple of weeks ago, and that's the only thing I'm